Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to another Premier Draft of Bloomburrow with a little bit of alchemy in there to spice things up. Without further ado, let's slam dunk an alchemy mythic rare, shall we? This is a 4-mana 3/3 legendary Squirrel Soldier. When it enters, you may forage. When you do, conjure a card named Chitterspitter onto the battlefield. So you get this on the board where you can sack a token during your upkeep to put an acorn counter on it. And all of your squirrels get +1/+1 for each acorn counter on it. And you can spend a green and tap it to make 1/1 squirrels. Okay, so even if you don't sack anything, if you forage when you play this rare, you're going to be slamming down a squirrel producing engine. And whenever one or more squirrels you control deal combat damage to a player, you can sacrifice a token and you can just do the chitter spitter thing again. Alright. I mean, that seems pretty good. Basically, a 4-mana 3/3. If you forage, you have a squirrel engine. Seems good. Obviously, one place to play that card. It's a dedicated green-black squirrels deck, but if we can get into the archetype, it'll be pretty great. Pick 2, Bone Cache Overseer is great for a dedicated squirrel deck. When you forage or when you sack a food for any reason, you get to also draw a card. Excellent card advantage engine, card draw engine for the squirrel decks. I'm passing up an Essence Channeler for it. This is great in black-white bats, but I think that's worth it when we've started with a Squirrel Mythic Rare. Pick number 3. Now, a Daggerfang Duo is a good card for fueling all of your foraging. It's putting 2 cards in your grave no matter what, and if it dies, that's all 3 cards you need to forage. Treeguard Duo is an excellent enter the battlefield effect, so even if it isn't a relevant creature type, it's a pretty great card, and it is actually competing with Daggerfang Duo, despite being a different creature type. I think I'm still taking Daggerfang, though, with such a strict squirrel build around here. Pick 4, another Daggerfang Duo is fine, or Polywallop is fine. Polywallop is significantly better in a Frogs deck. 4 mana for this kind of effect is a lot. Just makes it more likely you're doing this late enough for your opponent to have instant speed interaction up to counter it, where if they have any instant speed removal of their own, they can kill your creature before it even deals the damage. There's definitely a big flaw to expensive green removal like this. Yeah, I'm going to go for the Daggerfang Duo again here. Glide Dive Duo is also just great in general for a variety of decks, but it is not as synergistic and as good for a very heavy forage deck, which both of our first 2 picks want us to do, the Overseer and the Yiru. And now I'm going to take a Bushy Bodyguard. I'm going to really take forage cards pretty highly to where I'm taking it over solid removal of Savor. Pick 6. There's Treetop Sentries now. Now there's a Dire Sight. This immediately puts 3 cards in your grave. The Dire Sight as a sorcery goes to grave, and the 2 cards you surveil. Pick 8. Alright, we are in the self-mill deck right now. Triple Daggerfang Duo now. We're getting really good at fueling forage, and we have 3 different cards that'll do so. This looks pretty beautiful. The biggest part we're missing on is removal, but I feel like Bodyguard over Saber is worth it. A double Forager. Super synergistic for us. Pick 9. Corpseberry Cultivator can forage every turn, but with this much self-mill, Mudflat Village is very exciting too. I'm actually going to take the Mudflat Village here. Every single creature we've drafted so far is a squirrel as well, so the Chitter Spitters are going to be going crazy. Nothing here out of pick 10. I'm going to hold down that Alt key and draft for collection purposes. It looks like I have a playset of everything, in which case we just take the highest rarity card. That'll fill our vault progress a little faster towards some more wild cards. I think I'm just going to bank these wild cards until a set that I know I'm going to draft a lot more than any other set comes out. Probably just going to bank the wild cards all the way till the Final Fantasy set comes out, and then craft the entire set before I draft, and then draft way too much. That sounds like a plan. I miss the Lord of the Rings set so much. I'm gonna do so many Universes Beyond drafts. Final Fantasy is also just like a franchise that I've only played technically like 2 of the games in, but it's such a big franchise, and there's so many people that I know who are super into it that I just know secondhand a lot of the characters and lore and stuff, and I'm very excited for that one. So pack 2, pick 1. This looks like a great spot for Consumed by Greed considering our lack of removal. And it's got a bunch of squirrels in the artwork, so obviously it's a great synergy spell. But yeah, the Marvel Universes Beyond. I mean, I know about Marvel stuff just because the MCU, but I've basically never read any Marvel comics. So that one's not going to be as interesting. I assume that's going to be on Arena as well. We already know for sure that Final Fantasy is. And those are both supposed to be next year. It's going to be a crazy year. The one concern I have with all these Universes Beyond sets, a lot of people don't like them for a multitude of reasons, but I'm one of Universes Beyond's biggest fans. I'm just super into them in paper as a whole. My biggest concern is with the digital implementation of them because of licensing rights and stuff. The concern is that we don't get to flashback draft them because we've never had a flashback draft of the Lord of the Rings format, and that makes me very sad because that was a great draft format. I enjoyed it quite a lot. Seems like it's just not going to come back. So I would be very, very sad if the same is true for all the Universes Beyond sets. We never get to draft Final Fantasy again once it's out of its few month period of being the newest set. Would be sad. I am a variety drafter and I love hopping back into old formats. Early Winter is a reasonable pick here because we still need more removal, but I feel like Tree Guard Duo is so much better for its mana cost. And I'm gonna pray to find more efficient removal. Here's Cash Grab, which fuels 2 forages off of this one spell, which is incredible. It does a lot of digging, and now we're really filling our graveyard. I'm going to take this over Bark Knuckle Boxer or Bonebind Orator. It's the best creatures. Pick number 4, another Cash Grab. Join the party. I'm going to mill my whole deck. Our goal today is to run out of cards. Just Tree Guard Duo over Assassin. There's that Indris again. I want to pack 1, pick 1 in Indris because that's so fun to have a Storming Lightning Bolt. But I always see it pack 2 or later. Pawn Profit's fine. We'll have to play it later than turn 2 a lot of the time. But even playing it turn 3 or 4 is pretty good. We have to play it later than turn 2 because we're not likely to have double green turn 2 that often. Pick 7, another Pawn Profit. Go deeper into green. I'm not super high on Heaped Harvest. Even with a bunch of foragers, I mean, we're so good at milling ourselves right now. Really don't think we need it. I like the double food token from these cash grabs. It's going to help with the Chitter Spitter abilities, giving us more tokens to sack as well. Boom! Pick 8 Honored Dray Leader. Feels pretty good for this deck. Just a very beefy, tramply squirrel. Turns our cash grabs into combat tricks. We can put a +1/+1 counter on this at instant speed by making that food token. There are not a lot of 2-mana squirrels in the format, if I remember right. It's just the black ones. Oh no, there's all the duos. That's what we're really missing here. A few Baker's Bane duos in this deck would look pretty perfect right now. I think we have enough self-mill to run a 1-of copy of Barkform Harvester just to be safe. I don't know that we have enough tokens to play Tangle Tumbler. Yeah, I'm going to go for the 1-of Barkform Harvester. Pick 10, I guess I'll have that Tangle Tumbler option. I don't think we need multiple copies of this when I have the Mudflat Village. And the cash grabs, if they mill it, they'll pick it up naturally. Alright. A little more removal and some 2-drop creatures out of pack 3, and I'll be a very happy camper. We opened up a double white mythic and another white rare. I'm going to pretend that I read that, but honestly, I just looked at the artwork because it's adorable. Incredible. We're just going to take another Bone Cache Overseer? Well, are we? No, we're probably low enough in removal to have to take a Savor or a Nocturnal Hunger, and I'll go for the Nocturnal Hunger. Camellia, let's go. Another Squirrel rare. Also spits out a bunch of Squirrel tokens, and also forages a bunch. Sure, I need more 2-mana creatures, but there's no 2-mana options in this pack anyway, so we can absolutely take Camellia over a bunch of other 3-mana or greater creatures. Pack 3, pick 3, well, I guess I can just play a lot of green sources and hope that Pawn Profit is always my turn 2 play. Definitely better than 3 Tree Mascot in a 2-color deck. On 1 Consumed by Greed, 1 Nocturnal Hunger. It's probably not the worst to take an early winter here. But I'm going to lower that curve. I'm going to take a Pawn Profit. Boom, we get a 2nd Consumed by Greed. And there's no 2-mana creature in this pack, so this is a much easier pack to just take the removal. Sure thing. Pick 5. Here's a 1-mana creature, but there's also a Corpseberry Cultivator, which seems pretty good for this deck. We're foraging a lot, to where when we're foraging for other abilities, this is putting counters on itself. It doesn't care if it's the card that foraged or not. I feel like this will be pretty good. I'd take a 2-mana creature over it, but I don't think I'd take a Sunshower Druid over it. A little 1-mana creature. Pick 6. Dang. We could have had that big otter that gives you a Storming Lightning Bolt and the Ral. I'm telling you, I need to be blue-red at some point. I need to open up one of those 2 mythics, pack 1, pick 1 in one of these drafts. And get to actually play around with that. Be pretty fun. I don't think we're playing any of this stuff. I guess I could have rare drafted there. Pick 7. Sticky Tongue Sentinel with triple Pawn Profit and a Bushy Bodyguard. A couple other enter the battlefield facts like Tree Guard Duo. That seems fine. It's probably better than a 4th Daggerfang Duo. Although, I guess Camellia... You know what? No, I'll take a 4th Daggerfang Duo, because both Camellia and Yuru buff all of our squirrels specifically, so running almost entirely squirrels would be kind of ideal. Wow, this is a good frog draft pod. 4 Pawn Profits. Oh, I wield the Bone Cache Overseer? Alright. Don't think I actually have room in the 3-drop slot for the Sticky Tongue Sentinel. 26 is 25. Should need to cut a creature already. Maybe just 3 Daggerfangs then. How much fear do I live in about the self-mill? Definitely not running 2 Barkform Harvesters. The big question is here, do I run just 1 copy? Or 0? Because if I'm in any game where I'm not at risk of milling out, Barkform Harvester does just nothing. A 3-mana 2/3 is a pretty bad rate. It is a squirrel, and it has reach. But still. Alright. 3 cards to cut. Tempted to do the Harvester. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I mill 14 cards maximum. I guess that's not horrific. Dire Sight. 16. That's if I draw every mill card in the whole deck. Yeah, I'm going to drop the Harvester. Maybe we'll mill out and put it back in for the rest of the draft, but I'm going to start with it in the side. High Stride is our least exciting non-creature spell. And then probably some non-squirrel stuff here. Some combination of these. For the creature cuts. 18 creatures right now. Yeah, we'll go 17 creatures, cut a High Stride, cut one of these. Cut one Pawn Profit for the difficult mana cost. 14, 12. Yeah, 9, 8 seems right. With double black spells. These will be a little hard with the Mudflat Village. Anytime I draw the Mudflat Village, we're going to be really unhappy when we draw Consumed by Greed as well. But I think these are both individually good enough in the deck to run, even with the Nombo going on here. If anything, I would cut the Village rather than the Consumed. I'd cut the Village for an 8th Swamp. So that I could cast these more often, because these will not be casting any non-creature black spells. But again, with triple Daggerfang Duo and double Cash Grab, I quite like the Village here. So yeah, took an Alchemy Squirrel Mythic, never looked back. Got a pretty fun looking little Squirrel deck here. We've got Camellia as well, so we've got double Squirrel Rare. Both looking very powerful, very synergistic. Yeah, see how it plays out for us as we head into the gameplay. Alright, here we are on the draw for game one. We have our double black for our Consumed by Greed. We have a Daggerfang Duo to just roll out as our first creature. We've got the Uru. All the stuff. No 2-drop. But we don't have a lot of those. Actually, probably should have started with a Forest in case I drew a Pond Profit here. Well, I kind of think I have to Consumed by Greed now. The Byway Barter, if they expend 4, getting new hands and stuff, plus it's a menacing threat immediately. Consumed by Greed it is. Alright, well, we'll find out what this does. They get a mana value 3 or less creature, and get a duplicate of it. 1/1 duplicate of it. That's very strong. Yeah. Jackdaw Savior plus a 1/1 Jackdaw Savior seems pretty good. They get a 2-drop back when those die. Okay, they don't have a 2-drop engrave right now anyway. No forage for you, Treetop Sentries. I need the reach. So 1-for-1 trade here. They tap out to Warren Elder and we trade. Before they have any other creatures engraved, that's super fine. Okay, that's 2 cards engraved. We're not at the forge yet still. If I Overseer first, and then forge next turn, we could get even more value. Oof, we milled a Nocturnal Hunger. Head of the Homestead for a wide board state. Conjure a Chitter Spitter. Get a Squirrel from that and draw a card from Overseer. There's the Meadow Guard. Gets bigger every time it gets targeted with Valiant triggers. I don't think Euro trading off is that bad. The worst part of it is that if we get Chitter Spitter an Acorn counter, then it's not going to be great. Yeah, no, we're probably setting up the Acorn counter here so that Euro's a 4/4. And the other Squirrel token I make is going to be a 2/2, so I can just block the 3/2 with a 2/2 anyway. Stop with the Flyers, opponent. Not with the bonus Jackdaw 2 from their Alchemy rare. We killed the first Jackdaw, but now if I kill the Seed Pod Squire, they still get to put Warren Elder or Byway Barter back to hand because they have a second Jackdaw. Oh, they put it right back on the board too? Alright, well. I mean, I have the removal for the Flyer, but it's not gonna work out for me because they got an extra copy of the Jackdaw Savior with that rare. Grave to hand. 2-mana Bushy Bodyguard here. Flood the board as much as I can. Oh wow, they can also just sack the head of the homesteads. This still doesn't work. That is kind of brutal. I guess I'm not making a Squirrel this time. Kind of need to just put the best stats I can on the board. Pretty sure double Jackdaw Savior gets us here, though. Oh boy. Yeah, definitely with a Blacksmith's talent. So their Flyers are going to have double strike. Haste. If they equip that to the Seed Pod Squire, does make our Consumed by Greed significantly better here. Okay, at least there's that, but again, because they have that bonus copy of Jackdaw Savior, they get to reanimate something when I do this. I guess I probably should have killed this pre-combat to stop the Valiant. Oh, shoot. Yeah, no, it doesn't even matter because they can Might of the Meek a non-Seed Pod Squire creature to stop the Consumed by Greed too. They just Might of the Meek the Meadow Guard here. Or the head of the homestead, trample for a little more damage. Actually, no, they don't trample because they sack that. But they get to sack that instead of the Squire to still get in that 4 in the sky. Does that mean I just pass through here and hope they tap out? I guess it does. Because they probably have to level us up to 3, rather than holding up the 1-mana trick. No. So they must have a bigger instant than the Might of the Meek. Oh, well, I guess I killed all the 3-power creatures, so this is going to work now. Period. I foraged with the wrong cards. I foraged my 1 reach creature earlier. Bodyguard, probably. Alright, and they get their 3-drop menace thingy back, probably. Wait, I thought it had to be a non-flyer. It doesn't. It can literally just be anything? Alright, well. You got me then. Probably one of the grossest cards to double up with the Conjure spell. 0-1 heading into game 2. Alright, here we are for game 2. We don't have the double black for consumed by, never mind. We totally do. So we just fill up the graveyard, 2 removal spells up, and roll from there. I keep not playing the forests, but also not drawing the pawn profits anyway, so one of these days I'll get punished for that. Mirror match, but they're on the play, so they're naturally advantaged here. Hopefully not to the point of costing us the game, but we'll see. Probably will be, though, because we get to trade duos at the same time. They have Forge and I have Forge, but they do it first, and then we do ours. Okay, Corpseberry Cultivator's not that bad. Not a very big tree card duo ETB, but I don't really feel the need to blow removal yet still. And this leads into double 3-drop next turn. Any combination of these spells. Mudflat Village, good draw. Prevents some flood here, just giving them another Daggerfang duo instead. And the Daggerfang duo mills double swamp to really prevent flood. Okay. Dire Sight. Ooh. Bone Cache Overseer is going to be a big deal. No foraging in the hand. So I guess I Daggerfang first still. That holds off the Corpseberry Cultivator forever. I think there's enough cards in our deck that we could find that would lead to pretty good blocks for this. To just let it through for now. Alright, we're literally just looking to hit a forage card. I guess I could trade Treetop Sentries off into it to pick it up with Mudflat Village and then forage. And just draw 1,000,000 off the Overseers. That actually seems like a legit plan. Maybe we just pick it up with Consumed by Greed here. I'll still have a Nocturnal Hunger. Find a pawn profit. Find a swamp. Find a swamp. Well, I thought for a second there they fixed the Forage audio glitch because we didn't hear it looping on us yet. But here it is. It's back again. The endless loop returns. Nice, quiet, chill magic now. Probably sack Tree Guard to pick it up later. Bat, Lizard, Rat, Squirrel. Oh, I can't pick it up with Mudflat. Well, 3-2 Death Touch versus 3-4 is pretty comparable. And this way I keep all the squirrels out still. Okay. 11 cards in deck. This is a game that could legitimately come down to mill. Awkwardly. But I feel like this is going to be a big enough trampler to help me close things off right quick here. By doing... Offspring Bodyguard. I guess I could cash grab first either way because I have so many squirrels on board. I don't know why I'm trying to do this all fancy. Actually, kind of want to go completely from grave now that I can use the food token for Yuru. Yeah, playing the cash grab fancy like that really didn't mean anything. It was strictly worse because then I had to play Bodyguard instead of Yuru when Yuru would have just been better here. Get the Chitter Spitter faster. We can play no more self-mill cards, but I think I can kill them in like 5 turns, so I'm going to draw 2 more, and then we're not going to mill or draw any more cards for the rest of this game. Hello, Tree Guard Duo really helps. Alright. Yeah, this should be enough to kill them in 5 turns. It's fine, we can still get there. Especially with Mudflat Village. Order back Daggerfang Duo. Fountain Port Charmer. Make everything cost 2 less. Sure. Alright. It's wide board time. Need to Yuru and Forge, saving Dray Leader and Grave. We're definitely picking that up. And we're sacking food tokens to Chitter Spitter. Could exactly recast Dray Leader, but then I don't make a Squirrel token this turn, so we save that for later. Could play Corpseberry Cultivator. Make a Squirrel. I guess there isn't really a later to be saving things for right now. Yeah, we kind of just go for max damage output. We pick up the Dray Leader immediately. 4 turns left. But I've got the Chitter Spitter going now. There's another Daggerfang duo. They've got one other card in hand. They choose not to mill. Longstalk Brawl? Sure. Now their board is empty and we've got a live Chitter Spitter. Okay, maximum damage output. Cultivator 7. I can't play sentries and duo, so it's going to be duo holding up Nocturnal Hunger and making a squirrel if we don't use it. Don't think this is a lethal swing, but it's very close, and it's definitely lethal next turn. So there's the concession from our opponents, and we're 1-1. All right, game 3. It's our first pawn profit opener. We'll see if it's the first time we don't actually have the ability to get double green turn 2. I did not have double green turn 2 basically any other game, but that's because I chose not to play forest turn 1 each time. And here we did it. We got double forest for the turn 2 pawn profit. Feels good. Emberheart Challenger does not feel good. 2-2 haste prowess on the play. There's a lot of life total pressure real quick, and it's a card draw engine. Live in fear of that. I don't want to have to blow a Nocturnal Hunger on it when I have a Death Toucher coming down. Oh god, really? Yeah. Seems good. Challenger into Gecko with another 2-drop spell on the play. Dream Curve levels of pressure here. Yep. And the Valiant removal to go with it, hitting a cheap enough spell to cast this turn. Okay, Arena. See how it shall be today. 1 and 2 it'll be. Nope. Not yet. They're out of removal. I can only cast 1 spell this turn, but I can forge with Camellia. Foraging with Camellia does literally nothing right now. Alright. Well, shoot. Yeah, I do need the food tokens to actually get squirrel tokens off Camellia. I guess I'm on Corpseberry then. Just let it stay a 2-3 for now so I can play Camellia and forge off Camellia for 2 counters onto it instead of just 1 counter onto it. Yeah, they just have this Gecko that can dig for removal here. Splashed Gev? But I guess it's disgusting when they curve out with the Flame Cash Gecko and they get Gev on board. Yeah, makes sense. Alright, I can play Camellia holding up a Nocturnal Hunger if we need to cast it, and if we don't, we just forge for 2 counters on Corpseberry Cultivator. The Moose has arrived, and we need to Nocturnal Hunger. Sure. Camellia is dead. 2 cards in their hand. Discard a card, draw a card again. Recast Camellia off a Mudflat Village, or I can Dire Sight. I think I'm gonna have to Dire Sight at some point anyway. It's painful, but here we are. Alright, those are good. Those are good draws. It's another good draw. And another glitched sound effect. This gecko has drawn them so many cards. Find the Blacksmith's Talent. Yeah, Blacksmith's Talent Emberheart Challenger is a very big card draw engine. Now they're drawing 2 cards a turn and discarding one of them that isn't relevant. Longstalk Brawl. Yep, they can target Challenger and Corpseberry Cultivator. Very good exile for the Emberheart Challenger. Here's Pond Prophet. I guess I just double Dagger Fang Duo and we really hope to dump our Mythic into Grave for Mudflat Village. It's a little better than Camellia right now. None of those are the Mythic. But we have dug closer to it now. Efficient removal. It's double strike in time. Get the Challenger trigger. That Flame Cash Gecko is exiled forever. Yeah, I need a Chitter Spitter so that I can keep making a 1/1 Squirrel to chump with every turn. No way to draw a card here. I can't Mudflat Village or Pond Prophet. Might have to still just pick up Camellia. Camellia Forage. I've milled a bunch, and there's still like only a couple cards more in library than me here. They've just drawn that many cards from Challenger and Flame Cash Geckos. Well, that's not going to get any Camellia counters on it anyway. Just realized both my cash grabs are in the bottom 13, where it's very sketchy to cast them. But they also make food and give me all the cards engraved to forge. Like it's Squirrel tokens and forage. So I think if I hit the cash grabs, I have to cast them. Treetop sentries. We just want to maximize Camellia +1/+1 counters, right? A forage with bodyguard would be 2 +1/+1 counters onto one creature instead of 1 +1/+1 counter onto 4 creatures, and 1 +1/+1 counter onto 4 creatures feels better. Actually 5 creatures, because I've got exactly enough to play the Overseer 2 here. More digging. Yeah, there. We have the same number of cards in library now. That's how much they've drawn. Oh, Hired Claw. If they just play 4 creatures, or sorry, play 4 lizards, I will die. I have to kill this gecko on the attack or it's going to ping me for 2. It's the most creature efficient way to do that. Just trade a Treetop Sentries into it, I guess. Trade a Daggerfang Duo into it, because Treetop Sentries is more likely to survive on a future block than Daggerfang is. I guess it's probably trade a Daggerfang into it. I can't just trump it here, it sticks around to ping me again. With Hired Claw's ability. Come on, cash grabs, where you at? It's very good. It's no cash grab, but it's very good. I guess it doesn't matter what I pick, I'm gonna have to just forage again. I can't take a single point of damage against this Hired Claw. I can't, like, Overseer here, I think. The triple flame cache. That's another lizard to ping me for 1 more. If all my cash grabs are in the bottom 10, we will die to the Hired Claw chip damage if they play 1 more lizard. This is probably the 4 damage to something and exile it, and they're debating if they want to get rid of Chitter Spitter instead. The way they're looking across the board there. It would be a chump attack now because Treetop Sentries blocks as a 7 toughness card, but they would still ping me down to 2. It is the assault here. Okay. Squirrel token. I do think we need to forage final +1/+1 counters. Full control, so I make a 1/1 squirrel and sack the 1/1 squirrel to buff all the others instead of sacking the 2/2 squirrel. One squirrel. Sack the 1/1 squirrel. Well, both cash grabs are in our bottom 10 here. Just trade into a 3/3 on the attack still. I don't think I need to full control mode for Chitter Spitter, but I'm going to do it anyway, just in case. Or actually, if I just put a stop there, that'll full control during that phase. I mean, they mill out before me. Maybe we're on the mill game plan. If I don't hit any cash grabs, if I hit a single cash grab, then I'll mill out before them. And we will need to find a way to break through. So, okay, now I think I can cast. No, not yet. They need to draw one more card. If they draw one more card, I can cash grab. This collector probably kills me though. They can recast one random permanent from grave every turn. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I do need to have one more blocker than they have attackers, because they can haste out whatever they play with Blacksmith's Talent, and at 3 life, if basically a single creature hits me, I'm dead. So I don't think I can actually sack this squirrel this time. Man. Where's the cash? Where's the money? To be fair, this game has lasted like 20 turns longer than I thought. Our opponent put us to 6 life in like the first 4 or 5 turns. We had like no board state. They had just an insane start, so the fact that we've gotten this stable is still impressive, even if we don't have cash yet. They have 3 cards in their deck now, I would like to mention. Play around the +3/+3 trample thing here. Probably am supposed to. Be 12 damage. That's 13 toughness. Oh, really? I'm going to be very, very mad if I don't find a cash grab. Come on. Oh my god. I mean, I guess I can chump the Heartfire Hero without killing it with a Pawn Prophet. But if they have anything to blow that up, they can kill their own creature to kill me. Oh. I'll hold on to this. Just to sketch them out. At least they have a lot of lands in their grave. No! +1/+0 trample? Oh, come on. That means I'm dead no matter what. If I block the hero with enough stuff to kill it, then it kills me. And if I don't, then it kills me with trample. God, man. Ugh. And the worst part, because the Valiant trigger, there's no way to get around it. Because if I block with a 4/4 and a 5/5, then they don't cast Might of the Meek. That way it dies to my 5/5 and then kills me. But then if I block with like a 4/4 and a 4/4, they can also still just not cast it so it kills me. Oh my god. 2 cards left in deck. And a single cash grab could maybe find a way to survive here where we block it with a small enough amount that we just get trampled for 3 damage and survive with cash grab. Actually, I could even get trampled over for 4 and be alive. Man. It's 10 trample. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. but they can just order... They can order this all in a way to where it kills the Heartfire hero. And then we die. Yep. Yeah, if I drew a single cash grab, we win. Because they do this, and then I respond with cash grab. Surprise, I have a food, I'm at 5. 5 life, I go to 1. I guess I'd need double cash grab though, right? Because then I'd be at 1 and then they could kill me with the hired claw. Shoot. Well, maybe if we find the cash grabs earlier, we still win that. I don't know. Admirable attempt after the ridiculous start from our opponent. 1 and 2, heading into game 4. Alright, here we are for game 4, and there's one of the two. Just immediately taunting me. Got a lot of foraging going on here. I don't think I want to cast it until I have a squirrel on board. But now that I missed land 3, I'm going to have to cast it here to guarantee that I'm casting something on turn 3. Playing against green-white rabbits, very aggressive archetype that can make super wide board states for cheap. But no token production from them yet. Just a 1-2 into a 2-1. Pretty fair start. Alright, I need this mana. Play a 1-1 Dray Leader, or a Dire Sight, or Pawn Prophet. Playing a little off curve here, playing a 2-drop instead of one of the 3s, but Pawn Prophet's our best blocker for their Bushy Bodyguard. And it draws us a card while still impacting the board here. Intrepid Rabbit is fantastic with Warren Guard, and it gets the Bodyguard to get damage in this turn as well without dying to Pawn Prophet. Four toughness seems pretty big here, so we definitely play one of our 4-drops, and I will go for the Tree Guard duo. And there's the Coyote to exile the duo. Well, they missed one card from being fully on curve here. They didn't go 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop, 5-drop. They went 1-drop, 3, 4, 5 on the play, which is still pretty deadly. If I play a single blocker, I die, and that's literally all I can do. I can only cast one spell right now. Play a single blocker, block, take 5. But even more than 5, because this is 3 power still. Alright. That's the way the cookie crumbles on this one. 1 and 3 it is. I don't think this is a great Squirrel deck. We just didn't see some of the premium commons that are really important for the archetype, mainly the Baker's Bane duos, to have some actually synergistic 2-drops in this deck instead of Pawn Prophets. And just to up the early game plays, as you can see, a lot of those games, those last 2 losses for sure, were 100% because of our lack of early game plays. If we just had a few Baker's Bane duos, that would help a lot. That's the 2-mana 2 that also makes a food, and when you expend 4, it gets +1/+1 till end of turn. So more food production would be big in general to give us some more longevity, but also to like work with Camellia making squirrel tokens. So that's the big downside here. Our cheap plays are not what we want them to be, and we're a little low on removal. But that's really, again, the lack of cheap plays kind of thing, where we want some Baker's Bane duos and some like 2-mana removal, like a couple Savers, to make the deck pretty perfect. But I don't think this deck was horrible. I don't think this deck was a 1-3 on average, because it does have some very high power level for grinding out long games. It has decent removal, not great. We just really got hit by the weaknesses of our deck there, playing against a couple really quick games, playing against a couple really quick decks on the play while we were on the draw there. So kind of max punished for the slow starts. And it is what it is. It's how the cards fall today. 1 and 3 it is, and we'll just go right back to the ping pong ball that is these alchemy drafts. Apparently, we're just gonna go 1-3 and then 7 win, and then 2 win, and then 7 win, and then 1 win again. That means next draft we'll get another 7 win run on average. But that is gonna end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.